So hello, I am Horacio Sajon from the Natural Language Processing Group at Universitat Pompeu Fabra. I am very glad to present SignON, bridging the gap between sign and spoken languages. And this is a collaboration with Dimitar Sterionov from Tilburg University. Dimitar is also the scientific coordinator of the project. Also participating Gorka Lavaca from the Basque Country University, Tim van der Kruijs from KU Leuven, Vincent van der Dienste from the Dutch Language Institute, and Joseph Ladd from Universitat Pompeu Fabra. According to the World Health Organization, there are over 460 million people with a disabling hearing loss, and the World Federation for the Deaf indicates that over 70 million people will communicate via sign language, which is, by the way, the preferred mode of communication of the deaf community. There are several sign languages in the world. They are all natural languages having their own lexicon and grammar. Signs are used to express meaning, and the articulators to express a sign include the hands, the configuration and the trajectory, facial expression, and also the use of the three-dimensional space in front of the signer. All these elements are combined in order to produce meaning. It is probably needless to say that sign languages are extremely low resource where natural language processing is of concern. So currently human interpreters are the main medium for crossing the language barrier between signers and non-signers, or between signers of different sign languages. However, the availability and the cost of these professionals is often a limiting factor for communication. We know that there has been outstanding developments in machine translation in the past few years, for example, with approaches to statistical machine translation, and more recently with neural machine translation, and also because of the availability of parallel corpora. However, where sign languages are of concern, machine translation is in its infancy. So I don't know if you have seen the interface for Google Translate, for example. It does not offer any functionalities for sign languages. So there is a clear need for technology that will help bridge the existing gap in a translation between sign languages and spoken or oral languages. So given the previous context, we have here the SignON project. The SignON project is an European project funded under the Horizon 2020 research program, and more specifically in the area of the next generation, more inclusive internet. And the grand goal of SignON is to develop a communication service which will translate between sign languages and spoken or oral languages, and will be adapted to the communication needs of the deaf and hard of hearing community, and also of hearing individuals. So you can imagine that such a great grand goal will require a multidisciplinary approach. That's why we are 17 partners. They are listed with their logos on the screen. And these partners have expertise in different areas, such as natural language processing, machine translation, sign language linguistics, avatar technology. We have application developers, user organizations, and broadcasting corporations. So in order to achieve the grand objective of SignON, we work in several sub-objectives, such as co-creation. For example, we work in close collaboration with the deaf community in order to drive the project in the right direction. Also, we work on the development of a computational framework and application for the users. Research and development is being carried out on recognition and understanding of sign and spoken languages. We also work on the development of a language-independent meaning representation, which will be used for interlingual machine translation. Generation of sign language, speech and text is also an objective that we have, including the adaptation of the output to the specific needs of the user, for example, through text simplification. During the lifetime of the project, we cover languages such as Irish, English, Dutch, Spanish, and sign languages such as Irish Sign Language, British Sign Language, Dutch and Flemish Sign Language, and Spanish Sign Language. And we want our framework to be extensible to incorporate additional languages after the project. So the project will develop a lightweight mobile application by which the user will be able to enter sign language, that is video, or a spoken or written language. And then the application will communicate with the framework on the cloud, where the heavy processing will be carried out, and then the translation sent again to the application for the user. And this could be text or spoken language or sign language. The sign language will be rendered by a customizable avatar. So with respect to the advances, several activities had been completed in the first months of this project. For example, we have specified and implemented interlingual representation, which is based on NBART, and it has already been customized to several of the spoken languages in the project. And based on these, experiments have been carried out on machine translation between some of the spoken languages of the project. We have also carried out experimentation with neural text simplification using the adopted technology. We can also report the first experiments in translation between text and sign language glosses, which are lexicalized representations of sign language. There has been intensive work towards the formalism for sign language lexicon and grammar. Also intensive communication between the deaf community and the developers, and the first internal only release of the SignON application for testing. So we hope that in the coming months and years we can bring on more news for you. For the time being, thanks for listening, and I would like to encourage you to visit our website to know a little bit more about our project. Enjoy the conference. Thank you very much.